How's it going, everybody? Happy Sunday. Here we are. Welcome, welcome. Happy Sunday, Nick says. Welcome to the end of the weekend. Oh, Jeff, what a downer. We're just getting started on next weekend. Early. Really, really early. All right, Michael got first. Aiden got second. Mike 47. How's it going, everybody? Rich. Father Time, how you doing? So I'm thinking about my bug. Every time I see Father Time, I think about the bug. I just can't help it. I was thinking about the bug, and I actually had a thought. And you tell me how crazy this might be. So I changed the battery size. Changed the battery makeup, I guess to say, so that it would be able to output more current. But that didn't really make the thing any faster. The next step is, getting a different motor controller, the whole setup. And that motor controller setup that EV West sells is made to work at 126 volts, or at least their battery packs are 126 volts. So what I need to do is reconfigure my battery pack so that it puts out 126 volts. I can do that. But my thought was just now, like 10, 15 minutes ago, if I do that, and if it's still limited to the same amount of current, but the voltage is higher, the motor would be getting more power, right? So maybe that'll be worth another test. I'll reconfigure the batteries because I got to do it anyways. I'll get us up to 126 volts so that I'm ready for the EV West kit. And then I'll just try it again. Maybe it'll go fast. Probably not, but maybe. Hello, Discord doesn't agree. There is a stream happening. What? That's what happens when we let Blade take vacation. Oh, how's everybody doing? I think we should talk about projects first. I definitely have some stuff I wanna get into. So, you guys have you saw the title probably, right? And I've got a strip of LEDs here. Well, I don't know if I should do that one. No, I shouldn't do that one. I should do this other one so that I can connect a bunch of stuff to it. Anyways, my goal today is to go through a lot of these button options. I think it's under user. Yeah, it's here. Or under LED preferences. So you got all these button options, and you can do push buttons inverted, which is instead of grounding it, it's pulling it high, and then it does its thing. You can do a switch, so just on-off switch. Okay. PIR sensor, which is really just like a inverted push button, but I think it also does something else with MQTT topics. If you're using MQTT, it can sense motion and send that as a separate message, like to Home Assistant or something. I don't know if we'll be able to do the touch ones. Depends on which pins are available, but some on the ESP32, some of the pins are already set up as a capacitive sensor, like a passive touch sensor. We may be able to try that. And then I definitely want to try this analog where we can hook up a potentiometer and turn the dial and like make them go bright or dim. So we're kind of, my thinking here is, a lot of times for most of us, it's no problem to pull out our phones and get the lights to do what we want. But sometimes there's other people in the house and they want to do something with the lights and they don't want to pull out their phone, or they don't have the app or something. So wouldn't it be great if we had something, a little control panel that would have some of these controls on it? And wLED now has the ability, and the Unos and Quads have the pins available. You can connect several of these things. So we're going to play with that. But first, tell me about your projects. What are you guys doing? You fixed it? Justin fixed it? Oh, good. Taxes. Ugh. Gross. Oh, they have new electric motor. Who's that? Kyonseg? I don't know who they are. They have a new electric motor. Did they sell it in the US? Yeah, I don't think so. Oh, wow. Yeah. Can I just get one of your electric motors, please, to put in my VW? Yeah. We'll just do that. That'll be great. Can you use more than one analog button? Yes, Yona, yes, but only 2 because it has to be an analog input capable pin on the ESP32, and there's only 2 of those. There's only 2. Mike, thank you for resubscribing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Do you like unicorns or planes? So unicorns or planes. Do you remember when we used to do that? Unicorns and planes? You tell me, Mike, and we'll play whatever you like. All right. What else did I miss? So Discord, so Justin fixed it, so now it does. Okay, working on lighting another pedal bike. 6 strips, 1,800 LEDs on a pedal bike? Holy cow. Can you schedule dates like holidays with wLED? Yes, we just did that last week, Big Nasty. We just did that last week. Can you tie the buttons to Home Assistant? Good question. Good question. I don't know. We'll look into that, Father Time, Padre Tiempo. We'll look into that and see. After we've established the buttons, we'll see if that updates anything in Home Assistant. I don't know through the custom through the component, you know, the integration for wLED. I don't know. It probably sends an MQTT message. Is there a non-analog button option? What's the difference between analog and non-analog? Oh, so when it says analog, what it means is a potentiometer, so a dial like this, right? It's a dial. You turn the little thing, and the volume goes up, the volume goes down, right? So that's analog. So it's not just on off. It's not a digital signal. It's just a variable voltage signal. That's what it is. So the times to use the analog it would be for, there's only a few things you can adjust with analog, and I actually need to find it here. Analog buttons right here. Yeah, so this is new with 13. It's been in the betas, but now that it's official, we can play with it for real. These are the things you can adjust with it's an analog button. I would call it a dial. I mean, I think the fancy name is potentiometer. That's what all the nerds say, like me. But a dial, you know, something you twist. So of course you can do brightness with that, but you can also do speed, intensity. You can like flip through the palettes, which is pretty sweet. You could like turn a dial for the color palette that you want. That's kind of neat. I don't know what segment and opacity is. And then primary color hue, I guess you can just dial in a little bit of the primary color as well. So I think what I will do, we'll certainly do global brightness. I think that's numero uno. And then the other thing, I don't know, I'd kind of play around with it a little bit, but this palette one seems kind of cool that you could turn the dial and like completely change the colors that you're seeing. It's pretty neat. But the analog pins can be extended, right? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's probably a limit to how long they can be, but yeah, you can definitely put it on a wire and put it somewhere out there. Unicorns. All right, Mike wanted unicorns for subscribing. Right? Would be interesting to adjust the brightness of RGB that way. That's exactly what we're going. That's exactly what we're getting at, Father Time. That's exactly what we're getting at. We're going to adjust the brightness of the LEDs, the RGB LEDs with this. And then Big Nasty, I started to tell you. So last week, the stream from last week, we went all through how to do the custom calendar stuff. So I won't go back through it right now, but it's all here under time and macros. Here it is. It's pretty straightforward. You click that little calendar, pick the days of the week, and then the time of day, which preset you want to come on, and then the calendar. Pretty sweet, right? Pretty sweet. One thing to tell you about the analog stuff as well is that the Unos and Quads, I was looking at the pinouts, and the Unos and Quads, you have access to pin 32 and 36. So those are the only 2 analog pins that you have easy access to on an Uno or Quad. Typically, if you're going to use a microphone, it's also going to be one of those pins. Probably 36 would be the easy one. Or it doesn't matter. It's not that much different, but 36 is the default one. So 32 and 36 are those two. So if you're going to use a microphone for the sound reactive version of wLED, you're going to occupy one of those analog pins as well, right? How's it going, Nick? How's it going? Okay. Little Dr. Pepper to get the juices flowing. Is all this possible both through a Home Assistant and not directly through the ESP? Yes. 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 So Yona's saying it through Home Assistant, can you adjust all those things? And yes, you can. So if you go here, let's see. All right, so through Home Assistant, you can change the intensity. So this would be the same kind of analog thing. You can change the speed. As far as, I mean, you could set up a slider to change the palette, but you'd have to set that up a little bit, but you could do that. What were some of those other options? Intensity, speed, brightness. So palette, color, yeah. So I don't know what, again, I don't know what this is. Somebody can read that and tell me what that is. But, and then as far as the palette, you have to do the palette a little bit differently. And then as far as buttons, I mean, there's nothing that when we set these buttons, there's a short press, a long press, and a double press. When you, and then what you are activating is a preset. So when you short press, you're playing a preset or a macro. The macro could be a command like turn it on, turn it off, switch to change the brightness. Well, yeah, you can have like a short press or a long press to like adjust brightness a little bit like that. But anyway, so are all these things available through Home Assistant? I mean, Home Assistant does, I think, pretty well cover all of the options that you can adjust in wLED. You don't have to do it through your phone. You certainly don't have to do it through physical buttons. You can do it through Home Assistant. But we covered we talk a lot about what we can do through the app in wLED. And again, I want to see what we can do, or maybe ways we can turn it into something that would be even more usable for everybody else in the house that doesn't have it on their phone or something, right? So you can connect the buttons to Home Assistant if that's the case. Yes. Like you can make a button in Home Assistant that would do any of this stuff. It's pretty well integrated so that all of the options in wLED are available to be manipulated through Home Assistant in whatever way you decide you want to do it. Would be cool to have physical buttons to turn it on and turn it off, and a button to rotate between presets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, exactly. So like a cycle. We'll show you how to do that, Jeff. We'll show you how to do that. Let's write some of these things down so that I don't forget what we're going to do. Because that's an important thing. And I did that a long time ago, but I'm happy to, I obviously need to do things more than once. So we're going to do a cycle presets, right? Cycle presets. There's a macro for that. We're going to do the turn on, turn off. And there's a macro for that. A physical button that controls the Home Assistant. Oh, you want it to go the other way? Oh. So, and you're not talking about wLED, Yoni. You're just talking about a physical button anywhere that controls something else in Home Assistant? So like you want to flip the button on your wLED controller and have something else happen in Home Assistant. I guess you could do that. A Quora hub for wLED assets would be amazing. I like the Quora hub cubes, the Quora cubes, where you roll it like a dice. Something happens. Okay, here we go. And then we're gonna turn off. We're gonna do turn on, turn off, cycle presets. We're gonna do the analogs. I think that's a good one. And besides the brightness, we'll do the brightness. We'll do the speeds, and we'll do the palette selection. That'll be cool. I hope. Okay, I better start getting some stuff set up here Got here my little test kit, although I think this particular quad is one that I sort of sacrificed. Probably sell it as a discount at some point. So let's take some of this stuff off. This all started because I was going to talk about the relays, because I still owe everybody a video about connecting relays to wLED, and I thought, oh, I could do that, but I'd run out of stuff to talk about. And then I got really excited about these buttons, and so now it's like, skip the relay thing. Let's talk about buttons. All right, let's see here. What do we got? Actually, I don't need any of this, do I? I don't need any of this. We'll use these LEDs. We'll use this. Let's find us a controller here. Okay. And just to make it easy, let's use we'll use an Ethernet. Hopefully this Ethernet one works. Should. Most of them do. Most of the stuff I have sitting around here works. If I figure out that it doesn't work, I throw it away. Okay. That. Okay. What else are you guys working on? What kind of projects are going on? I don't know about you guys, but it's like springtime here. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Wanted to make my sound reactive LEDs work without a mic. Anyone heard of a way to make that work with an audio cable and a 3.5 millimeter jack? Good question, actual pug. I'm going to see if anybody has an answer for you that is real before I start spewing my theories. How about that? There you go. There is a circuit for an analog 3.5 input. Thank you, Stubbs. I knew it. If anybody's going to know how to do it, it'll be Stubbs. All right. Another thing to tell you there, Pug, is if you're doing it, I assume you're doing it like from a computer or something. And if you are doing that from a computer, then you also could look into LEDFX. LEDFX is a software that runs on like your PC and then takes your output and, it takes the input of sound and then sends the information out to the LEDs. And I'm pretty sure it does it to wLED as well because it's E131. Hey!
Sean King Super Chat $10. A little off topic. Is there a good hardware solution for something like Node MCU using Zigbee instead of Wi-Fi?
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sean. Is there something like hardware like an Node MCU? So you're talking about like a development board that you can kind of customize stuff that would be Zigbee instead of Wi-Fi? Boy, I don't know about that. That's a good question. I don't know about programming something that runs on Zigbee like you can do with Wi-Fi. So say if you took like a board that was a Zigbee light switch or a Zigbee receptacle plug. It probably has pins in there that you can use for other things if you wanted to, but I would have no clue how to start programming those. I don't know. I wouldn't know where to start either. I'm very curious to see if anybody else has that. Anybody else know about that? For the LED strip, just heard word of an ESP Zigbee board in development. Okay, that would be cool. So there you go. So if that was the thing, so Anar King is, which has got a sweet picture there with the purple thing on your head. That's awesome. So an ESP device with a Zigbee receiver. So if that could be programmed, like if, I don't know, I don't have any idea. See, I don't know enough about how the Zigbee protocol works to know if you could if you could run it through, you know, like wLED could run on it, or ESP Home, or those kinds of things. I don't know. New SP devices have Thread. Okay. Ask or follow DigiBlur for Zigbee stuff. DigiBlur's pretty good with it. Adafruit or Arrow. ESP32H2 maybe? Ooh, what's that? Maybe this is what somebody just heard of, huh? Today, upcoming release. Bluetooth connectivity. Provide Wi-Fi Bluetooth connectivity by adding IE connectivity as well. I don't know what that means. Does this mean, is that Zigbee? I don't know what that is. Which is a virtual mesh architecture, low power consumption. Yeah. Also makes the Thread and Zigbee protocols available. There you go. There you go. That's it. The H2. Thank you, guys. Who said that? Marius. Monsieur Marius. From Les Mis. All right. So there you go. That's exciting. Yeah, Thread Zigbee. There it is. Okay. Well, that'll be exciting. There'll be some development, I'm sure, in the works on that kind of stuff. So, okay. Let's see what we got here. Okay, we got 12 volts there. Let's set this up over here. We're going to clip these off so that we don't short circuit anything. I can't tell you, Pug, how to program that thing at all yet. But if it's out, once it comes out, people can get their hands on it. I'm sure we will have something available to be to make use of it very, very soon. Very soon. Oh, we got to plug this guy in too. All right. Okay. Here's some. Oh, it's got bright green lights. It's gonna mess up my screen. Let's do this right. Let's do this real good here. We're gonna adjust these colors. It's gonna take just a minute and adjust some things here. Okay. Properties. Configure video. Okay, that's gonna be a little bit better. Since we're gonna have lots of colors, we'll leave that there. Okay. What do you think? Looks good? Looks pretty good? Oh, I meant to invert it. That's the other thing I need to do. That's okay. I can do that here. Rotate. There we go. Now my hand comes in from the bottom when my hand is at the bottom. Right? Right. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Here we go. Just 10 likes. Smash that like. Okay. Mike's working on getting porch lights to come on when I arrive home at night. Using my phone, connect to Wi-Fi without Home Assistant. Ooh. Interesting. Bobby. Hey, how's it going, Bobby? What about wLED and Alexa? We can peek at that real quick. There's lots of things you can do with wLED and Alexa. Okay, I just connected this. So let us find it. Let's find it. The best way to find it is going to be on the app, right? So let's find it on the app here. Bring on my phone over here so you guys can just kind of watch along. It's nothing new here, but going over it many, many times is just that much more helpful for anybody that is new or visiting for the first time. And there it is right there, I'm sure. There it is. Okay, so wLED 46. So the IP address ends in 46. Now I can take that IP address, I can put it in my browser. Wowza browser. Let's turn that off for a minute. That's actually a good name for a browser. Somebody should name a browser Wowzer. That's what I think. Wait. Oh, 46, not 42, knucklehead. Pay attention. Pay attention. All right, here we go. Now, it's not going to be the latest update. So first thing we're going to have to do is update this one. So let us do that. Configuration, security and updates. Manual OTA. this one. Now, the one we want here, because this is an Ethernet, I'm using an Ethernet device, so we want this one. Download that, put it where it belongs. Drink it straight out of the bottle today. Ooh, boy. It's going to be a good one. All right, we got it downloaded successfully. Now we can go here, choose File. .1 ESP32 Ethernet, open, and update. This will be important because there'll be a couple things that I'll have to change once I get this in here and get it working. One of them is oh my gosh, lights are just going nuts. Don't know why. The lights are just going nuts. How about I unplug them? Let's just do that till we get that thing all solved. Yoinks. Check my DMs later. Okay, thanks, Stubbs. Will do. And we will do PIR. Yes, we will. wLED with long press for Zigbee pair. Only problem with Wi-Fi based automations is when your phone connects at 1 a.m. and turns all the lights on. That never happened, Doug. That's ridiculous. Yeah, that's totally ridiculous. Okay, let's see. Did it update? Looks like it did. All right, boom. Just like that, we're at 13.1. Now, when you are using an Ethernet device, right? Mine is connected, even though the light's kind of dim. Mine is connected to, turn that on. There we go, a little bit there. Okay. Ethernet, right? Oh, actually it does. It looks like because I updated it, maybe I don't have to change it. So often people will say, what? My thing's not working. Like if they flash the ESP32 with Ethernet, if they manually flash it, the default is not to the default is not this board, not the wLED board. So if you need to change it, this is how you do it. Wi-Fi setup down here at the bottom, Ethernet type. There are different Ethernet boards. You got to make sure you pick the right one. Excuse me. If you get them from me, it's just wLED ESP32. So if your little lights are not flashing, if you have manually flashed your ESP32 with Ethernet and your little lights are not flashing, it is 99% because this is not set correctly. Okay. Then the other thing that people get goofed up on it's usually when you manually flash something, is the LED preferences and the hardware output. It often is default to GPIO2, which in this case it is. It did default to GPIO2, which is wrong. It needs to be GPIO 16. So right now, that's probably why these things are freaking out. These things are freaking out because they think that GPIO2 is where they should be getting their information from, and they should not be getting their information from that. They should be getting their information from GPIO 16. So when we change it to 16 and save it, oh, now it's all fixed. Wow! I need a button that does that. Wow! Instead, we'll just do the unicorn. He will fly in and say hello. Fat Uni. Fat Unicorn. Blessing us with his presence. Thank you, Fat Unicorn. So nice to see you. All right, what was Doug's point? Oh, yeah. Nope, that never happens. We're not listening to Doug's point. Few automations for my wife's phone with you. Yeah, well, who was it? Sir Goodenough. He's not going to be here today. He said he has a meeting for a charity thing he does, but he was saying that that he had something happen and like all of his lights turned on in the middle of the night, or it's like his kids did something, like he's got older kids, I think, if they said something to the Google Home about, turn on, turn off, whatever, and it turned on every light in the house. He had to go through and turn them all off. Oh man. Okay, Sitendra, how you doing, my friend? It has been a very long time. Thanks for being here. Okay, so now the point of today is to take this ESP32 and wLED. Now that we are on the latest version, 13.1, and we have all of our functionality here correct, so we can turn on the green lights, right? And we turn them off. Okay, great. So now we're going to start playing with the buttons. Okay, let's start playing with the buttons. So this is all in, it's in LED preferences, which is a little funny. I would have thought user interface being buttons, but hey, I'm not going to change. I'm not going to complain. You know, we're going to just do this. Okay. The ESP32s already have a push button on GPIO 0. So if you kind of sneak your finger under here, you can push that little button and that will kind of be the default. And the default is just turn on, turn off. So it's just toggle, right? Its default's just toggle. So now let's start. Should we just jump right into the analog stuff? How can I get these controllers? You're in India. The best way to get them is the AllNet China store. AllNet China. They do the international sales. I should have a link in the video description, but I don't. Sorry about the brightness. And then if you just kind of search for, if you search, I think Quinn, probably. You should get all of Quinn LED stuff. No? Oh. Uno? Yeah, there's the Dig Unos. Right there. I don't know if they're in stock. They probably are not. And then there's the quads. Right, that's just the case. Anyways, this is the store. So AllNet China, they do all of the international stuff. Okay? Kedoke? Kedoke. All right, let's grab, I'm going to grab a couple push buttons, and I'm going to need some jumpers, and I'm going to need a couple of potentiometers. All right, so here's some switches. Here we got some switches. We're just going to have to keep going back and forth here. I guess I could do the adjustable brightness, but never seems to work quite as well. So we've got a regular toggle switch. Okay, we can use that. I've got one little kind of a push button here. This little push button does the same thing. I'll probably use this one because it has little screw terminals, makes it a little bit easier. We're going to do a PIR sensor. So that's that. And then we've got the potentiometers here. Okay. All right. Let's jump right to the potentiometers. What do you guys think? I think that's what we should do. So let's do that. One more chug. Okay. So for the potentiometers, it has to be on the analog pins. Now, when you were looking at this wLED knowledge page, and it talks about the potentiometers. They call it analog button, right? But potentiometer, really, dial. It says potentiometer should be supplied 3 volts and ground, and with its output supplied to AO or any other ADC pin you specify. I don't know what this means, right? 10,000 ohms or greater. Oh, that means the potentiometer. Mine is 10,000 ohms. It says B10K. So mine are and I know they go higher, right? 50, whatever. I know I have some here that are 50s. I think this one's a 50. Anyways. And then this is important. Don't use the ADC2 GPIO pins. So if we do ESP32 pinout, we should be able to see which pins are like whatever, ACD1, ACD2, analog, blah, 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 blah. Oh, burn my retinas. I need a button for burn my retinas, huh? That's what I'll do. All right, let's go here. Come on. Open image in a new tab. And can we not zoom in? I guess we can't. All right. So here's ACD1, ACD1, 0, ACD1, 3, ACD1, 6, 7. Oh, interesting. Here's ACD2, ACD2, ACD2. Where are the pins in the 30s? This is probably not the one we want to look at. Oh, here's the pins in the 30s. 34, 35, 32. Yeah. That's why. Okay, so what we have available on the Dig Uno and the quad is this pin, which is GPIO 36, ACD10, and GPIO 32, which is ACD14. Oh, and it's a touch. That's great. We can play with that too. Control plus scroll. Oh, thank you. Thank you mucho. Hey, James is here. Where is our cookie today? Good question. Maybe he'll be on. Maybe he'll be on. After watching New and Old, will I still today need a step down from 12 volts to 5 volts? Joel, if you no, you will not anymore, because the controllers, the Unos and the quads now have a 12 volt to 5 volt regulator already in them. So whatever voltage your LEDs are, you put that voltage into your controller, and the controller itself will get the voltage it needs. If you have 5 volt LEDs, you can put 5 volts into the Uno or the quad. The controller, the ESP32 part, will get what it needs, and it'll send 5 volts out to the lights. Great. If you have 12 volt lights, you get a 12 volt power supply. You put 12 volts into the Uno or quad. It's got an onboard regulator automatically now. You don't have to change jumpers or anything. And that will send 5 volts to the controller, the ESP32, so it doesn't die, doesn't get fried with 12 volts. It only wants 5. That is managed by the Uno or the quad automatically. And then it still passes 12 volts out to the lights because that's what they need. All right? Sweet. Do I know if wLED support ADC multiplex on the ESP8266? I don't know about I don't know what multiplex means. I know that with wLED you can use the analog. There's one analog pin on the ESP8266 that you can use. It's just labeled AO, typically. Does that help, Ofer? How you doing, by the way? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. All right. Waiting to get a Dig Uno when it's back in stock in the store. I hope it's soon, Joel. I hope it's soon. It's killing me. It's killing me. Late to the game. What's cooking? We're doing pins. We're doing controlling wLED through sort of more physical things, physical buttons. So we're gonna do potentiometers, switches, PIR sensors. We're gonna play around with that kind of stuff. All right. On the Unos and quads here, the jumpers are male ends, so that means I need female ends. So take that one. Oh, actually, you know, I'm gonna say the same thing that I say every time, and that is my jumpers are all so unorganized. And I organize them, and then they just seem to unorganize themselves automatically. I don't know how they do it. I go away for a day, and my jumpers just all decide they're gonna have a party, and nobody goes back to bed where they belong. Maybe a few of these will work. I've got so many. I just got a new batch of jumpers. What did I do with those? They were nice and short, which was a little bit easier to manage, I felt like. All right, I'm gonna need a couple more. What I need for the potentiometer is 2 female ends. I only see one female here. So let me go to the house, the place where the jumpers go to. Oh, here's another one. Oh, nope, never mind. Scratch that. All right, dang it. Here we go. They jump away. Nice. I just need to keep like a handful of the right ones right here, you know? Oh, it kills me. So unorganized. Oh. All right, let's see what we got here. Found a black one. And I found a white one. So I just need one more. And it needs to be female on both ends, and none of these seem to be female on both ends. Dang it. That didn't help, did it? Oh, wait, here's one. Okay, great. So we got 3 now. That'll work. That's all we need. Okay, so we're going to set up the potentiometer. Now, the potentiometer, let's see if it has anything written on it. I can't really see. Okay, we'll do that next, okay, Nick? We'll do that next. So we're going to have to go to we're just going to have to go back to Google and do potentiometer. And I don't know which way it's going to be kind of funny to say pin out on a potentiometer. There's only 3 pins, but I don't know which one's which. Okay, this is probably it. They're probably all the same. Okay, so if you're looking at it, we're going to use white for 3 volts. Hopefully that'll work. Doesn't seem to be making great connection, but maybe that'll work. White for 3 volts, and then ground is on the outside. Okay. Crunch that down a little bit. Yeah, that's better. And then we'll make the gray one the output. Okay. All right, so now we're going to go to the quad. Turn it off for a second. I'm going to take this off just so I can see. Let's get you guys a view here. I'm going to take this off so that I can see the pins a little bit better. Just extend the microphone over here a little bit so hopefully you can hear me. Ballpark ETA for wLED ESP32s with external antenna. I want to upgrade some existing Unos and quads. I wish I had a ballpark. Mark, I would say 2 weeks, but I always say 2 weeks, so I don't know. I wish Quindor was here to tell us. I just sent him a text again this morning just to see how he's doing and where we're at with some of those things. Okay. The AO pin. So we're going to use AO. AO is ESP or is GPIO 36. And probably no way you're going to be able to see it unless I really, really zoom in. Okay, it is. Where's my little blue thing? Here's my little pointer. All right, right there. Okay, that last pin in this row is AO. So that last pin is GPIO 32. Great. All right, and then down here we've got ground is the second to last pin. Right there, second to last pin is ground. And then 3 volts is, 3 volts is 1 pin up from ground, all right? I wonder if I can just kind of take this off. Maybe that'll work better. Okay, there we go. All right. So we've got our 3 pins here wired up. AO, which is GPIO 36. Ground is down here, second to last. That last pin is a 5-volt pin, and then the 3-volt pin. And then I've got it connected to my potentiometer with voltage here, 3 volts here. The output from the potentiometer to the board is in the middle, and then ground is the one on the left. Sound good? Look at those steady hands, eh? Bzzz, your laser. What Quindor says 2 weeks. Yeah, we coordinate that. All right. Now that we have that potentiometer set up, let's go into wLED. Now that I've put that back together, powered on, lights come on. We're going to go into the wLED controls here now. Should come back online. Should be here. Happy days, happy days. Now, we can just say it's button number 2. It doesn't really have to be that button, right? I'm going to turn these off so they're not green in my face. Okay. This button, when it says button 0, button 1, button 2, button 3, that doesn't mean anything other than that's the order of the buttons that you chose, right? Doesn't really change anything. Okay, so here, GPIO number. So this one's going to be number 36, remember? Number 36. And look, does it tell you when some of them are red? Okay, cool. So it tells you if they're red, don't use it. If it's red, it's not available. That's awesome. Okay, 36. All right. And I don't know why it's yellow. Maybe that's telling us that something special is happening. And we're going to set it to analog. Now, we have to tell the button what to do. Where do we see that part? Let's save that. There's someplace we have to tell the button what to do. It's not on this page. Maybe that's on the user interface page. Okay. Oh, it's on the macros page probably. Yep. Okay, great. So now button 1 we set to, this is the button. Now, so this is now we have to go to a different page in the settings to actually tell it what we want to happen when we turn that dial. So we can go back here and we look at what the instructions tell us. I know, read the manual, it's horrible, but that's what you got to do. It tells us what to do with a button. Analog buttons. Okay. With the short and long columns set to 0, set the double column with button actions to one of these values to configure. Okay, great. So this is 0. This is 0. In the middle, oh no, wait. What did it say? It said the long, right? The double column. Okay. So we want to set the double column over here to one of these values. All right, well, let's start with global brightness. Let's set it to 250. So if we set this value in this box to 250, and then we save it. Okay, now we're going to turn it on. Look at the LEDs. Don't look at me. And then hopefully, if I turn this dial, they will go up and down. They're a little bit wonky. But yeah, it's working. There it goes. Yay. I think my connections are a little bit, because I just stuck these jumpers on the potentiometer. They're not real solid, but connections. But there you go. Awesome. Okay. Hey, global brightness. Global brightness on a dial with a potentiometer. That is awesome. You can now turn the brightness up and down with your fingers. Ha 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 ha. You don't need a phone or anything. Seamus is here. Thank goodness. There's a hyperlink there. Analog button. There's a hyperlink there to set up analog button in settings where you are. Oh. For assigning presets. Here, you want me to just give you this? Is that what you're, Nick? Do you want this link? Yeah, you do see a flicker. I think you see the flicker because my potentiometer connections are pretty crappy, right? Yeah, it's definitely got something flicker there, flicker, a little bit of weirdness going on. If the connections are solid, if I don't wiggle it too much, if I don't move it too much, it seems to do pretty good. There's a little bit of flicker when you get really dim, I guess. My guess would be make solid connections, and that would be better. You also may be better off with a potentiometer with a higher value. He says use 10,000 ohms or greater for your potentiometer value, right? And mine is 10,000. So you might, maybe if you had a higher valued one, it might be better. Below button macros, there's a hyperlink for the analog setup. Oh, I'm sorry. There is. Huh? So back here there is. Below the button setup. Hyperlink for analog. Oh, back in the other settings, the other page. Here. Analog button setup. Takes you right to that page. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Now I know what you mean. Low quality carbon track potentiometer, no doubt. I'm sure it's the. I only buy the cheapest stuff. You know, lowest bidder. That's where I go. Okay, well that was fun. Let's change this now to the next thing. The speed. Okay, we can do the speed and intensity real quick, and then we'll change the palette because that's what I really want to do. I don't know what this segment N opacity. Oh, I'll bet this is if you have variables, if you have different segments set up, this may scroll between the segments. Oh, is that a thing? Is that what that does? Is that what that does? Nick, it says, let's see. Oh, Dawson, how you doing, buddy? This, for the analog, you only have these options. You only have these options. Global brightness, speed, intensity, palette, and primary color. Those are the only options that you have. So unfortunately, it doesn't look like we have, you can't scroll through presets with that. I'm actually going to change it to the hue. Did you see that? Did you see what I did there? I changed it to the hue, the primary color hue, and then we're going to dial it and see. Oh yeah, look at that. You dial it through the colors. It turns blue, pink, red, green. Heck yeah. So that's what the primary color hue does. Dude, that's freaking awesome. That is awesome. I bet if you had like white, if you had white lights, I wonder if that would do something there too. And it would change its opacity, right? C# worm, that's right. And by changing its opacity, would that mean like it makes it, I mean, opacity in this case is just brightness, right? High opacity meaning, well, high opacity meaning you can see it, so it must be bright. Less opacity meaning fades away. Is that what it would be? I would wonder about that. Let's see. You know what we'll do is we'll set up, so we can't have multiple potentiometers. We can. Let's set up another one. Oh, I don't have enough jumpers. Where's my jumpers? Okay, I got to think about where I put those jumpers. Give me one more second. Just bought some jumpers and I lost them. Well, yes, we can set up more than one potentiometer. Let me see if I can play with that. Do that. Let's set up more than one. You can only set up two though. Can you have a remote button panel? Good question, Stubbs. If you're gonna have a remote button panel, then what you would need to do is just have like a whole separate ESP32 or ESP8266 with all these things connected to it, with a potentiometer connected to it, with something else connected to it. And then I would say you just run that through Home Assistant and then control wLED that way. You can like make these wires probably pretty long and make that work. Did I look like I was inspecting my lights? Yeah, distance of the wires. That's a good question. I don't know what the distance could be. We might have to do some experimenting and see. I'm trying to see if I can come up with enough other jumpers to manage another potentiometer connection. I bet I can. Oh yeah, let's do that. Oh, let's see. Okay, I will need another. I could just I could do the positive and the negative. Let's get this other potentiometer. And I'm going to connect the ground from one potentiometer to the ground from the other. Because that's a legitimate strategy, I think. And the positive, that way, because otherwise I got to find, there is another, like one other ground and one other 3-volt connection available on the Uno or the quad here. But I'm not going to mess with that. I'm just going to try and make some lousy connections here. Breadboard would probably be the right way to do this too. Breadboard's how a professional would do this, but you guys are stuck with me. Sorry. Okay. Is that going to stay? No, that's not going to stay. Tape. Let's put some tape on it. So the reason that you can only have 2 potentiometers is because you only have 2 of the analog pins available. You have GPIO 36, which on the board is labeled AO, and then you have GPIO. Oops, I touched those there. You have GPIO 32, which I believe, and we'll double check this in a second, but I believe it's GPIO 32. So 36 and 32 are what you have available on the Uno. Gosh darn you. Doggone thing. Let's see. Did that stay in there? Yep. Okay, so that's still connected. That's good. That's great. That's great, great, great. I know there's flickering. I know. And then we're going to do one more. We'll do this. We'll make this a little bit longer. Yeah. Okay. Aha, here's one. All right, now we're going to go. I think let's double check, but I'm pretty sure it is Q4 is GPIO 32. I think Q4 is GPIO 32. Turn that off. Okay. We're going to go dig quad pinout. I think I'd have it memorized, but I don't. This is for the quad version 2 and version 3. Yep. Okay. And there it is. And we want 32, which is Q4. Yep, that's what I thought. Okay, good. So Q4 on the board. Where's Q4? Okay, Q4 is going to be over here next to where I have this 3 volts connected. All right, so there's Q4. So that will be the other analog. So now I have 2 potentiometers. This one connected to GPIO 32, and this one over here connected to GPIO 36. All right, if I can just kind of sort of keep things mostly connected here. That's how we roll. Duct tape and a prayer. Okay. All right. So this one should still work to change the hue. Yep, it sure does. Okay, great. Now let's go up here and into our config and our macros. And, oh, I didn't set that yet. Nope, back. LED preferences. Then we're going to call this one button 2, and we're going to set this to GPIO 32. Okay, 32. We're also going to set this to analog. All right, we'll save that. Then we go to macros and button 2. We leave the short as 0. We leave the long as 0. And then we set this to one of these numbers. Let's set it to the palette 247 because I just want to get to the business. And that's one of the things we thought would be fun. All right. I see some flickering going on over there. Now we're going to need it to actually run an effect, right? Something that is dependent on the palette. Which ones are dependent on the palette? You could always, and I think we should do this more often than I do for sure. We should go to the instructions here, effects and palettes, and this will tell us which effects are affected, which effects are affected by the palette, right? So let's see. Switches between primary and secondary color. So sweep, maybe. Sweep might do it. Let's go to sweep. That's probably a simple one. So let's do sweep. Sweep. Okay. So there's sweep. Now let's see if we change the palette. Oh, yeah. Can you guys see that? You can't. So that's cool. That is great. So it's doing a different palette. I don't know why it's going quite so flashy crazy. And I don't know how to know what palette I'm on other than to know that it's changing the palette. Whoa, it's going crazy. Maybe sweep's not a good one. Let's try a different one. Let's try stream change with the palette. Yeah, it sure does. So you can have some effects. I don't know what's with the blinky blink. It may be my connections, but yeah, so you turn this dial a little bit and you get totally different colors. That's awesome. Okay, now let's go back in here again, and we're gonna change it to the instead of adjusting the palette, we're gonna have it adjust the speed, and the speed was 49. Okay, so we're gonna change this to 49. So now the palette's going to stay the same, but we're going to make it go faster. Zoop. There it goes. Now it's going faster. And then slower. Oh, yeah. So I'm turning the dial. Make it go faster. Broop. Oh, it shows you moving through the palettes in the wLED UI. Oh, sweet. Okay, so let's go back to palettes again. Let's put it back to palettes for a second. Okay, 47. Save. And then go here, and it's going to show our palette over here. Oh, you can't see that. Okay, there's our palette down there in the corner. So when I move this, oh yeah, see, it changed to orangery, red reef, candy 2. magenta, sherbert, vintage, sunset. You see it changing as I dial this, and then default. I mean, I don't know how it's gonna. I mean, there's how many of those palettes are there, right? It's a ton. But anyways, that's pretty sweet. That is pretty sweet. And then changing the primary color hue probably doesn't matter when you're using a palette. So this other dial can do different things. But okay, that's pretty fun, guys. That's pretty fun. So what do you guys think? Tell me what you think would be the best use of the analog. What do you guys like? Dimming is probably number one, right? What happens if you're on a preset palette and you change the hue? Good question. And that's what I just did. And I don't think anything changes. I think the palette overrides the primary color hue. Now it's hard to know because when I mess with this thing, so I'm changing the primary color hue potentiometer right now. And I mean, it's flashing a little bit of funkiness, but I'm betting that that's not because of what I'm doing. I think because if we do it a different way, so say we've got this set to whatever, I think there's just like a little bit of interference and it's just switching to different palettes. I can see it switching between forest and ocean. Okay. If I'm set to a certain palette in wLED right here, if I'm set to a certain palette, and then I change the primary color, it's hard to know. These potentiometers are kind of screwing things up. I guess you can see it change. You can see it change there too, the primary color hue. That's kind of cool. I don't know that I can see it changing I don't see it changing the primary, the actual colors very much. I see a bit of flashing and weird stuff going on. A little bit there. But I don't see it really changing the colors that are being displayed. If you do solid, yeah, solid doesn't do a palette though. Right? No. Android does a palette, so that we can change that maybe. Well, yeah, Android does. Look at that. That's green. It's a little more red. Kind of purple. My bet is that it changes based on the effect. So if some of the effects you can change the primary color when you have a palette set, and some of them you don't. That would be my guess. Dimming and speed on analog, and then switch presets with a button. I like that one. Brightness and then effect as a secondary. Depends on the palette. Probably dimming and speed. Yeah, I think you're right, Stone Obscurity. Dimming and speed probably are good ones too. I agree. Dimming and speed. Dimming is a great one. Man, dimming is a great one. Dimming is a great one. Okay, so let's go in here and let's undo some of these. So let's not have too many interferences here. Let's go set this to 0. We'll set this to 0, and I'll take these off of the potentiometers here. And we wanted to do a PIR next, don't you think? We should do PIR, right? Brightness and hue. Hue's a good idea too. Actually, you know what? Hue did work pretty well. I was pretty happy with that. Well, good news, you can do whichever you like. All right, now if we go back here again to buttons, what does it say about PIR, aka motion detection sensor? They set the GPIO high when the motion is detected. It's a type of button will also trigger MQTT with a slash motion topic. So, but it's basically an inverted button, because the push button, normal push button, it is activated when you take the GPIO pin to ground. The inverted button is activated when you take the GPIO pin to 3 volts. A motion sensor like this, the motion detection sensor, the GPIO is high or at 3 volts when motion is detected. Okay, so it's basically going to work. It's going to work like an inverted push button, except it's also going to send the slash motion or a message on the slash motion topic. Probably would want an LCD screen output of the values, just so you're not going to be going at it blindly. Yeah, that'd be nice. Or you could just, go at it blindly. Just kidding. That's what I do. I wonder, can you, that's something I don't think is set up on wLED yet as any sort of display output. Probably could be, but not yet. It's not there. I don't know if there's enough room for that kind of program. All right, so we're gonna go to the PIR sensor now. The PIR sensor that I have is this beauty, this little beauty that I love so much. These are the A321, I think, A321 or 312, something like that. So let's make sure we get the pin out right on that bad boy as well. Keep opening more tabs. PIR pin out. And the one I want is the little guy. It's probably the AM312. That's what it is. Okay. So when you're looking at all right. So the ones that I have, I've seen others in the past that do call it out on the board. The ones I have, unfortunately, do not call it out on the board. So what we're stuck with is just going by sort of orientation of things. So I think I've got it in the same orientation that it's showing on the picture there. And that would put ground on the right. Ground on the right. 3 volts on the left. And then the output in the middle. So now let's go back to this here, and let's pick an output. I would say let's put it on like Q2. Okay, let's put it on Q2 on the board, which will be GPIO 12. So we're gonna go here. We're gonna call this button 1, and I'm guessing it's gonna just be long press. That's a good question. Does it say anything? Does it say anything here about that? Momentary button, presets assigned. Switch type button, you can assign only 2 presets, one for the transition, switch from low to high, and a second for the 0 for the preset. We'll use the default action. If you find that the default action is inverted, please create a preset on and off actions and assign them appropriately. I assume global brightness. Okay, well, let's see. I'm going to guess that we'll probably want it to be long press. What do you guys think? We probably want this to be long press. And what do we want it to do? We want it to turn on probably, right? Well, I guess it's going to toggle. If we do this, it's just going to toggle. Okay, well, that might work. All right, so let's go to, I think if we leave it like this, it should toggle with motion, which would be a little weird. Low to high and high to low. Because you don't want it to toggle, I guess. What you want is for it to turn on and turn off. So let's set up some macros. We're gonna go here. We're gonna create a preset. We'll create one preset that is to turn it off, which is capital T equals 0. Okay. We're gonna call that preset off. And then we'll set another one, which is going to be on, and that will be T equals 1. Right? So we've got preset 1, which is off, and preset 2, which is on. So now, go back here. We'll go to macros. We're going to use button. Oh, it didn't save it. But now we want button 1. I guess it doesn't matter. We can call it button 3. Would be fine. So which one? When there's... Wait a minute. Oh, that's not right. That's not right. That's not right. I guess we just want the motion to turn it on. So let's just set this to 2. I guess you could say if it's long press, if it detects motion, no, that wouldn't be good. Let's do this. This should just turn it on, although it may have done that before. No, hold on. I'm doing this wrong. If it's a short press, the default action is to turn it from on to off. We don't want that. If it's a long press, it goes from off to on. Well, that's the switch. It seems like, though, when you just press the button, that the zeros are just a toggle. Well, let's try 2. Let's just try it like this. Short press, turn on. Okay. Save that. And then we got to go back into the LED preferences and set this part up. Just take that out and take that out and set this one to, what did we say it was? 12? GPIO 12 and PIR sensor. Okay. That look okay to everybody? Save. All right. So now, if this moves, nothing happening. I wish there was a way. Oh. Okay. Turn them off. And then let's see if we make motion. They come on. No. No motion. Hello, motion. Okay, now they came on. Oh, now they went off. Yeah, something's funky. Something is funky. Oh, now they came on. And then they went off. Okay, so let's find this out. Let's figure this out. There's got to be a bit better instructions here. There's got to be, right? There's got to be a bit better instructions. Okay, let's search for PIR and see what we get up here. We're probably just doing this wrong. Level shifters. Buttons. Be careful with the snow. Motion detection sensor. Set the GPIO high when motion is detected. Button will also trigger MQTT message. Button motion sensor. Won't detect motion for X time from the last instance. Oh, that makes sense. That reset time. Yeah, and that's probably on the board, right? Treat it as a switch. We could try that too. I was trying to use it as the default. Check your MQTT topics. Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good point. Let's Oh, you know what? I don't think I have. I'd have to connect this controller to the MQTT. Let's do that. Gonna have to do that. Okay. Wi-Fi setup. Nope. Sync interfaces. Oh, it just turned off and then turned back on. Okay, MQTT broker. That's not it. It's 27. Username. I think it's MQTT. I don't remember what this is. Then I can't remember if I kept MQTT Explorer. Yep, here it is. So it turned off again and then turns back on. It turns back on without any motion. There's no way. Well, maybe it's detecting motion. No, that's not going to work. I put this in wrong. Put the wrong password in. All right, now. That's Glowworm doing crazy stuff. If I press this, I did not register anything there. All right, let's see. Oh, it's not rebooted yet. Still rebooting. Booting. Still rebooting. Okay. Back on. Still rebooting. HCSR501, that's the one you can control the timings. Not very happy. Not a happy LED controller. Oh, did I not enable MQTT? Oops. Now I've got the thing totally screwed up. Let's just power cycle. So weird. It's just really unhappy. It's just definitely unhappy. I just disconnected the control or the PIR sensor. Who else was saying that they tried PIR sensor and had trouble? How to link button sensor toggle 5-volt pin and relay for LED power supply switching, assuming a separate continuous power supply sensor. Jason, we can look at that. They have two knobs, one for sensitivity, one for timing. Oh, was that you, Eddie? Okay. Why is my LED controller so mad? Didn't like that. It didn't like something that I did. Yeah, I can't even get to the wLED settings anymore. Here we go. It's finally showing up. Sync interfaces right by MQTT credentials a checkbox. Publish. Oh, yeah, I clicked the publish button press one. I did click that. But just like my controller just got very angry and hasn't come back. Shouldn't have changed IPs. It's connected with Ethernet. That's funny because I can control it with the app. At least I can turn it on and off with the app. Boy, it's very unhappy. It's very, very unhappy. That's weird. I can do, it must be in some sort of a, okay, we're just going to let that whole thing power down for a minute. Yeah, I agree, Doug. I noticed that too. The Ubiquity interface, you no longer have the option to sort them by how long they've been up. That was like super useful because that's how you knew like what was the newest thing that just connected, you know? Oh, now that's weird. I turn it back on and it usually comes on by default. Boy, I really upset this thing. They're really angry at me. I disconnected the PIR. Huh. It looks like it's connected. It's flashing. Connecting to the router now to see if it's there maybe. Hold on, I gotta check my controller. I've just been updating it without checking. Yeah, I'm almost there, Stubbs. I think I might have to reflash it. You can add columns. Oh, cool. Okay. So like normally, ooh, traffic inspector, that's new. Yeah, so normally right here you could sort by the uptime. Oh, there is uptime's back. Okay. All right, let's find wLED. This one, wired 46. Uptime has not been 10 days. Okay, well, that's working. I don't know where it went here. Man, it's still mad. Huh. I really upset it. Okay, well, I guess we wait another minute and then reflash it. Go back to Unify. Just got to manually add it. Good question. Is it broadcasting wLED AP? Well, it's connected to Ethernet. So no, it's not broadcasting wLED AP, but it's connected to Ethernet. So try your phone. So I can turn it on and off with my phone. And I can adjust the brightness. But when I go to open the user interface, it just loads. It's just stuck loading. It's just stuck loading for some reason. So I guess we do a hard reflash. What do you think? Corrupt flash, maybe? It said it had to reboot when you change the MQTT, and it looks like it just decided that it was going to give up El Ghosto. Well, here we go. Back to reflashing. Because we like to reflash anyways. Reflashing is fun. Happens to us all, see? Was the MQTT set up? I don't know. I could never get back in there to see if it took hold or not. On the clients list. My uptime was back, Nick. My uptime was back. I had noticed that it disappeared in the past, but just now it was back. All right. So we're going to go to install wLED Me. We got to tell it that it has Ethernet. And we want 13.1. We're going to go install. That's the only one available. And we're going to reflash the whole thing. I believe the SE puts PoE on the controller. I have a separate PoE switch. Ooh. Okay, we'll let that go. Pull LAN ors off and then back on. Oh, now too late. At least it's not too bad when it's on the, yeah, when I'm sitting here. Flashing is fun. Context is important. Nice, 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 Goldo. Try the one from, especially for use with PIR. Oh, is there a different, so Eddie, there's a different, like a branch or whatever you call it. Got to get some hardware and finally set up wLED. Yeah, you do, Ikafar. How have I not sent you something? Dude. I don't have any right now, really. I have these like random ones I've sitting around the desk, but as far as availability, got nothing. While we're waiting, this is totally off topic. Good. That's okay. We haven't seen too many squirrels today. Just curious if I can use the 5-volt output on my Uno to power my Pi for lights. I would say no. Not like, you'd have to ask Quindor how much 5-volt power. But certainly not like the pins. So if you had, I would say this, if you have 5-volt LEDs, and so you have 5 volts going into your power, going into your Uno, yeah, Pis are pretty hungry. You need a couple of amps. So most likely, if you're putting 12 volts into your Uno or your quad, the 5-volt pins where you have 5 volts available to put out, you're not going to be able to get 2 amps out of there. No way. I don't know what exactly is available based on what components Quindor used, but I would bet it's not 2.5 amps. Everything's in and out of stock. Oh my gosh, isn't it crazy? So awful. So awful. One day, by the time normal life returns, none of us are going to remember what normal life is like. All right. So now, unfortunately, oh, I should have done that while I was there, because I could have. Oh well. Unfortunately, now this device is no longer connecting through Ethernet because it is defaulted to the wrong type of Ethernet controller, the wrong type of LAN module, right? So I have to go in here. This is what I talked about at the beginning for some of you that were here at the beginning. Let's see. I want Wi-Fi setup. Yes. Ethernet type. Okay, so I have to set the Ethernet type to QuinLED ESP32 in order for it to use the Ethernet connection. Now, what are the odds that Doubt that it works on long or double press. Just an on-off switch is a short press, right? You know, I had it set on short press. Didn't I see sharp arm? It didn't work. But let's try it. Let's see if it's the same IP address. Wouldn't that be splendid? It should be. Yes, it is. Okay, yay. All right. Well, it wiped out everything that I had done. It wiped out everything I had done previously, which is okay. That's fine. That's fine. That's just fine. We can do that. Okay. At least it's still going to be the latest version. So it's still 13.1. All right. What should we try instead now? We're going to go to LED preferences. We're going to set up a button, and we want the button to be the PIR sensor. Oh, let's set up MQTT first so that we know that's going to work. Sync interfaces. Enable MQTT. 27. Username is MQTT. Password is the usual. You all know it. Come on, say it with me. You all know it. All right. Publish button press. Yes, we want that. Okay, now we're going to save that. Now, over here we have the output from our MQTT broker. So if I press the button here, oh, it's not defaulted to, it's not using a button. Okay, that's weird. Usually is by default you can do GPIO 0, but let's see. Oh no, so it's not defaulted to use the button. Okay, great. All right, well, whatever. Push button there. Let's do that. Save that. Now let's look at MQTT Explorer again. This time when I push the button, we still are getting nothing. Really? Oh, there it is. We are getting a button press down here. There we go. Okay, great. So we're getting the button press, short press. Sweet. And then here's long press. Okay, great. And then here's double press. Nope, that's short. Oh, it's because it's just set to push button, so there's only one or two? Okay. All right, well, that's good. That's good. We're making progress there. Making progress. We're going to go here. We're going to set this to GPIO 12. And then what do you think? Do you want to just set it to switch? PIR is actually a very long press. It goes high when detecting and waits like a minute before going low. Maybe what we should do, Johnny, so should we do it as a switch? I really want PIR. I really want it to be PIR. Let's save that. And then macros. So then do I need something here? Or will it just default to toggle it on and off? I wonder why I'm not getting an on-off even on a button press. Even on the 0. It's kind of weird. Okay. So on is 1 and off is 2. We're going to go back here. Short press. Oh, we didn't do toggle. That's okay. On is 1, off is 2. Okay. let's see. Let's just try this first. I just want to see if this button wasn't working for some reason. It's still not working. What the heck? Why are my lights not coming on? Oh, I know why. I'm a dope. 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 Do you guys all know what the problem is? Why won't my lights come on? I reflashed manually and my lights won't come on. Why? 99% of the time. What's the problem? Right there. That's the problem. I thought we had changed that to be defaulted to 16, since most of the controllers are running wLED, are Unos and quads. Why is my color messed up too? I guess it's in here somewhere. Okay. Yeah, that's better. Now we're in the right colors. Okay. Everything's okay. Everything is okay. Now when I press this button, oh, did you see that? So it's detecting motion. Let's look and see what we got in the, let's see what we got in here. Motion. 1 equals off. So right now it says there's no motion. On. Oh, okay, it's just backwards. And then when it goes to off, they come back on again. Okay, so that's okay. Now we know it's working. We just have to change what it does. So we just need to go in here and change what it does when that button is on. So right now, so if we want, gosh, that's the thing. So when it goes on, we want it to come on. But right now, it's going back and forth like a switch. So long press. I wonder, see the default, when it's off, the lights come on. That ain't right. That ain't right. I wonder. So motion off. Let's turn this thing off. It won't turn off now because it detected motion. Oh, I have to hold it now. Okay, so it's off. Now if it detects motion, comes on. Yay. And it stays on when it goes off. Yay. Hey, that worked. That worked. You guys watching that? Of course you're not watching. I got you stuck on the other thing. Okay. So right now, motion is, so if the lights were off, let's turn the lights off, okay? So this is a situation where you want it to act like a motion detector. I guess maybe you'd have to have 2 motion detectors. No, you aren't gonna have to do that. This is interesting. So how do you get it to turn back off if it hasn't detected motion in a while? You'd have to do that through Home Assistant, I guess. Or you set the timing, right? You set it so that it's on for a certain amount of time. Or somebody said you could do on some of these, not on this one. So when it detects motion, it comes on. But now it's going to stay on. Even after it stops detecting motion, it's still going to stay on. So now motion is back off, but the lights are staying on until I physically turn them off. So maybe, gosh, what would we do about this? Maybe a macro. Oh, okay. So yes, good, Alexander. I like that. So the macro, in your macro, you set it for a time, right? So in here, let's look at the macro stuff. So we want to create a macro, and we want there to be a time. So we want it to turn on, and we want there to be then a delay, right? Is there a macro for delay? Oh, I guess we could have it turn on the night light. We could have it turn on the night light. I don't think there's a macro. Is there one for time? Transition time, time, toggle time, Cronksy time. No. Hey, Sir Goodenough's back. Yay, let's play something for him. We're so happy you're here, buddy. Yeah, macro with a timer. I think what we can do is set it to turn on the night light. That would probably be the thing to do. So let's see. Oops. Okay, night light, active, and duration in minutes. So that's what we want. This is it. So let's use a macro with this. Okay, NL equals and then a duration in minutes. All right, let's do this. Here we go. We're gonna do something cool. We're gonna go in here. We're gonna make a new macro. Okay, create a preset. So we want it to turn the first thing we want it to do is turn the lights on. So that's gonna be 1. Then we do the and symbol, and oops, we don't need 2 and symbols. And then we do nightlight equals, and let's do something short so we can actually, like watch it while we're doing this here. Let's set it to something short like 1. Okay. The next thing we do have to do is we have to change the nightlight setting, because right now the nightlight is set to like fade over 60 minutes once the timer's on. We don't want that. We want it to just go off. Hey, Jeff, how's it going? The next thing we want to do is we want to tell it, okay, so turn on, set the nightlight timer, and then when the nightlight timer's over, it should just turn off, right? It should just turn off when the nightlight timer is over. I don't think we need to add anything after that. My thought was we set it for a timer and then we tell it to turn off after that timer. I don't think we need to do that in here. Let's change the name of this to motion timer. Okay, save changes there. Oh, it detected motion and turned on. And then let's go into our configuration. We're going to go into our, is it under preferences here? Fade, wait and set. Default duration. I mean, I guess the default duration shouldn't matter. What is wait and set? Is wait and set it to 0? Bring, bring. Thank you very much. Perviz, thank you very much, my friend. 1 is 1 minute. Do like 0.05. Ooh, that'll be really fast. Can I do that? Does it have to be full increments? Like integers? Fade nightlight. 1 equals fade. Brightness only. So maybe nightlight fade needs to be set to 0. Maybe that's the wait and set. I'm not sure what he means by wait and set. That's the tricky part there. All right, let's just set this macro then to, we want this one to be number 3. Okay. And we'll see what happens here. So we turn it off. We're going to watch our MQTT messages. We're going to make some motion. Okay, so it turns on. Now we're going to let it. So now the timer in 1 minute, as long as there's no motion, should turn it off. So I'm just going to sit very still and read the chat for 1 minute. Try not to breathe. It's like the longest minute ever. I'm really thirsty all of a sudden. I wanted to reach for my Dr. Pepper, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna refrain. Show some self-control. Come on. Has it been a minute? Is anybody timing this? Don't laugh. Can I be really still for 1 minute? I'm trying not to move. I'm just watching to make sure it doesn't detect motion. Whatever. Oh, it did it. It did it. It did it. Sweet. We did it, guys. Okay, so then motion that comes on, and then after a minute, it will turn off. Hey, that's freaking awesome. Bet your nose is itching, yeah. Man, that's amazing. Sweet. You can totally have motion detection on your wLED now. Now the question. All right, John, hit me. What's the question? Okay, I'm actually quite happy about how that worked out. Dropping a cloth over the top wasn't an option. I guess you could do that too. I'm waiting 1 minute, waiting patiently, not moving my head. Now you can do the staircase project. Let's set it to, I liked, who was it that said to set it to like 0.05? What if you just keep moving? So every time that it hits motion again, there it goes, it went off. Every time it detects motion again, it should turn back on. So I would assume that if it keeps seeing motion, it will keep turning on. Okay, let's try that, setting it to like really short. So instead of nightlight equals 1, let's try nightlight equals 0.05. Okay, so that's going to be like a few seconds. And then it will saving motion timer. Okay, it saved the motion timer. So now we're going to go back here. We're going to have it go motion. I don't think it likes those decimals. Because that should have just gone back off. Did it not save it, maybe? I don't know if you can do it in that fast. My wife puts socks over the acquired PIR sensor. Is it up on the wall? Old curmudgeon, greetings programs. How you doing, buddy? I wonder what that does. See, because I think it's, I don't know. I guess it should be. It doesn't say it has to be duration in minutes. I mean, I guess it could be. I don't know if that's going to work for your stair project. Who was trying to do that? Yeah, it has to be an integer. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of that. Okay, let's see. Because now it's not even, is it even turning off after a minute? We haven't been watching to see if it detected motion, right? But oh, I guess the other thing we could do too is rather than waiting for it to detect motion, we could just activate it by clicking on it. Oh, turning it off. And then nope. Probably you need to read 0 to 2, not decimals. When documentation says 1 equals fade brightness, 2 turn off. Probably I need to read. Yeah, probably. When documentation says 1 equals fade only brightness, then 2 maybe turn it off. Oh. Well, it was turning off. It was just the timing. We were trying to shorten the timing. We couldn't do it less than 1 minute. I bet it has to be an integer. I bet it doesn't do. I don't think it's set to be so instantaneous. I wish there was just a time delay, but I don't think there is. Two equals additional fade color from primary to secondary color. Oh, so that's what 2 does. So snipple, is that how you say it? Snipple? Snipple? So when you're setting this, 1 is fade brightness only, and this is down here. It got kicked to this lower next one. 2 is fade color from primary to secondary color. When the LED is on, you look a bit cyborgy. Yeah. There we go. Now I'm less cyborg. Yeah, 0 to 225. 0 to 225 should include like decimals, right? Mr. Tech Gadget, what's up? Okay, the other thing that we haven't tested yet. So we did the motion sensor, and I would say that for the purpose of like being in a room and having lights turn on because you walked in the room, we got it working. And we got it set. You just have to set it. You can use this preset, but you just have to set this time here to some integer. 0. I don't understand. I mean, 0. What is 0 going to do? Just flash it? That's an interesting idea. What does that do? Can't be 0. It can't be 0 either. I mean, 0 would just turn it off, wouldn't it? Animated staircase mod supports 2 PIRs, an ultrasonic sensor, one at the top of the stairs, one at the bottom. Oh, Jason, where is that? Let's look at that. So if you want to use the staircase, if you want to do a staircase thing, then that's what you want to do. See you later, B-Fits. Adios. See you later. So Jason, can you share that animated staircase mod? Okay, so that's where you load up the user mods, right? So user mods, you'll have a user mod here that would be an animated staircase mod. Okay. My big computer is not working as it should, or I would probably be able to make a patch file for you to use, so it would be a second instead. Oh, well, thank you, Alexander, but that's okay. I don't need it. My purpose was, although I do need to do the staircase thing, would be pretty sweet. But my thought was to set it so that it would come on in the room. Then if there's, after a certain time, it goes off. I don't know if you really want that or not, but we're just kind of playing with what's possible, right? So the next thing, the one thing we haven't checked yet, we've done all the normal stuff, but we haven't done a switch, a regular switch like this, on-off switch, right? So let's set an on-off. Let's put on an on-off switch instead of a toggle button. Oh, it detected motion. Let's see if it goes off in a minute. Compile animated staircase mod. There is a per segment timing to set for the stair animation. I find 60 milliseconds to be the sweet spot. Oh, Jason, I would love that. Show me that, would you? Show me where to find that beautifulness. I'm back to being a cyborg. Let's just turn them off. Oh, and then it showed that the timer was on. Did you see that? Because it had turned the timer on. The stair light up in a sequence away from the sensor that's tripped. That is freaking awesome. Somebody needs to make a video about that. If I only knew a guy. Use on-off via PIRs for wLED, but I control the wLED on-off via the external system like ESP Home. Oh, did it just detect motion again? Did I move too much? I must have moved too much. Don't want to code. Don't want code everywhere. wLED as simple as possible. I like seeing what wLED can do. You know, only maybe it's just because it's the new frontier a little bit, and doing some of these more advanced things with wLED without Home Assistant is kind of the new frontier for me right now. All right, let's set up a regular switch. So we're gonna go into the config again. We're gonna go into the buttons, and we're gonna change this from being a PIR sensor to being a switch. We're gonna disconnect the PIR sensor. Oh, okay. So we're gonna save that, and then turn those off. This tells us what to do when you have it as a switch. So we must read very carefully. So some GPIOs will prevent. Okay, nope. Where is it? It's in here somewhere. Okay, so this tells you what to do to step it through the presets. If you click a button, you want it to toggle through presets into the preset number for your button. This will step through presets 1 and 3. Change the 3 to whatever your highest preset is that you want to include. Right. There's also one that's, oh, this one toggles through the effects. That's good for push buttons. Like push buttons are great for toggling through the effects. You can only cram so much onto an ESP chip. Should check if in PIR resets what it does to code. Might reset timer, might ignore if a timer is running, and stop when initial. Very different. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Does it reset every time it gets? I would think it would reset. You know, I'm thinking in automations, like it would every time there's motion, it would basically click that preset again. And I don't know what it does to the timer. I don't know if the timer stays timing or not. Good. That's a good question. Sir, good enough. That's good. That's exactly what we would need to know. All right, this one tells us what to do with a switch. Where does it tell us what to do with the switch? Be careful. So there's time and macros. Oh, this tells us what to do. This is what I was looking for. So the switch, if it's a switch, there's not a short and a long. So let's just hook it up. I would guess the switch, so one side of the switch needs to be on the GPIO pin. One side of the switch on the GPIO pin and the other side of the switch on ground. And then if we flip the switch, they turn on. And if we flip the switch back, nothing happens. See? We are able to turn them on, but not to turn them off. Hey, how's it going, buddy? It's almost time to finish. Oh, yeah, it is almost time to finish.
Hear about my adventure?
No. Oh, no. What happened? Did you wreck my golf cart?
No.
Did you?
But it was fun.
Okay, good.
The easiest part was the off-roading.
I'll bet. Were you riding on the road?
A little.
Oh, that's hard.
It was so hard. Because if you went too fast, but we parked for a little bit because I had to go to this meeting.
Okay.
And then it was like charged a lot more for some reason. Because the meeting was like an hour.
Oh, do you think the solar?
Uh-huh.
Oh, sweet.
If the solar did work. Because it felt a lot more charged.
Good. That's great. I don't know why it won't turn back off. Oh no. Regular Dr. Pepper? Off to on. Turns on. Won't turn back off. Maybe I got these backwards, but maybe that matters. Nope. What do you think? What do you think, fellas? I just want it to switch on and switch off. Okay. Short press is when it goes from, yeah. Okay, so you still have to have your stuff in here. So if it goes from off to on, we want it to do preset number 1. If it goes from on to off, we want it to do preset number 2. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, this is going to work now. So when I turn it on, it turns on. When I turn it off, it turns off. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. That's it. We did it. We did it. So now we have a regular old light switch. Switch on. Switch off. Yes. Yes. Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry, Sugar Enough. I didn't tell everybody to do that. Well, now it's probably about as many as people as we've had, so it's a good time to go to Discord and type in /here so you get your stream points for the day. Yeeball. The only other thing we looking at this. So if you have a bunch of presets, so say you're in your wLED settings here, and see, so you're gonna have to do you would have to cycle through those as well, but that's okay. I think you should have, if you set a button up. Well, let's see. We're out of time. How about that? We're out of time. Well, let's do this. Let's pick this up again next week. We might be at the Hobbit House, but that's okay. If we're at the Hobbit House, we'll do something different. But the things we still need to cover would be the relay thing again. Somebody asked for that, and I thought, oh, I'm going to do the relay thing, but I'm not going to have enough time. There's Mr. D. And then toggling through presets. So if you set up a button, like a regular push button, where you do have a short, a long, and a double press, then you want to have different things happen. And in this part of the wLED or knowledge page, it gives you some ideas of what to do for your short and long press. There are commands. There's a command that does like the next preset. Okay, so PL equals tilde will take you to the next preset. That's okay, except sometimes you're going to have presets like we had, where you had a preset that was a timer and a preset that was on and a preset that was off. I don't know if those are great. It also, this tells you how to do a limited number of presets. So if you only want a certain range of your presets, like you only want whatever 5 or 6 presets, that's this. P1 equals blah, P2 equals blah, P3 equals tilde, and that will just cycle through presets 1 and presets 3. Change 3 to whatever your highest preset is that you want to include. So instead of including all the presets, this basically gives you a parameter of presets between preset 1 and preset 3. So P1 is kind of maybe the opening bracket. P2 is like the closing bracket. So if you wanted to cycle between preset 5, and then you'd put a 5 here, so it'd be P1 equals 5, and then you want the last preset to be preset 10, then you would do P2 equals 10, and then the PL tilde. And that would only go through presets 5 and presets 10. And that way, if you had other presets like on, off, or timers, those would not be included as you're long pressing or as you're short pressing the button, right, to toggle through or whatever it is. Okay? Squirrels! Huh? Could set presets for on, off, and motion 1 through 3, and everything else set higher. So do PL. Yep, there you go. Thank you. C#worm, you're on top of it right there. That's the one. What is Sir Goodenough sending? I don't know what that's about. Okay, and then the other thing was about, so there was that with the toggle with the buttons and the presets, but then the only other thing was really the relay, the on-off relay thing. And I have done it, but we can do it again. And what I want to do, let's do it next time, because I want to set up a bunch of lights so that we can actually look at how much power it draws. We did that before. Some of you guys that are always here probably remember that. I think it was way back with like 12 Streams of Christmas or something. We did that, but we need to do it again. We need to do it again. All right. Oh, that was my tilde icon. Only on Discord. Oh. It's the little thing, you know, it's the little squiggly. This little squiggly. All right. Well, thanks everybody. Anything else? Any closing? Oh, good. User mod. Thank you very much. Boss man, that's you? Thank you, dude. That's the PIR. Let me post that. Wait, is that what it is? Was that the steps? User mod setup, PIR sensor switch, PIR enable, nighttime only. Is that you, boss man? Did you send this D1 Mini on Universal Shield? I guess I'm confused. Is that the International Hand Motion for tilde? It's this. James, that's freaking amazing. Oh, Stubbs, I see what you're doing there. I see what you're doing. So cool, so cool. Sign off like California surfers, like tilde. Okay, cool. We'll do that. Let's get the kids up here. That's fun. It's time for sign off. Yeah, you always wanted to say that, so good enough that you... I missed the first hour and 45 minutes. Can you start over? But you never missed the first hour and 45 minutes, so you don't ever get to say that. All right. So we're going to... How are you girls wearing so... Like that? Aren't you so hot in that?
So tired.
Oh, you're so tired? I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, hey. Do you guys know what... Like this? This is like a surf, like a wave, right? So we're going to sign off like surfers. You know what surfers sound like? Totally, dude. You know, like Nemo, the Nemo guys. Okay, ready?
My heart.
Are you guys outside jumping on the tramp and stuff?
No, I just ran up the stairs.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're gonna sign off like surfers. Ready? As always, thanks for watching, dude. Until next time, adios, dude. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and what's the other guys? Bill and Ted. All right. And then I'm going to, I'll play around with that Sir Goodenough right now and see if I can get the chat to stay a little bit longer. Last chance to get your slash here. Okay, I'm going to do the outro. Outro, everybody. Bye.